In the summer of 2004, an entire village, Boscastle in Cornwall, was devastated by rain.
Any flood which happens in the West Country during the summer is a collusion of meteorology and geography. You need the heavy rainfall first of all, but because the river catchments are generally speaking very small, they respond very quickly to rain which falls on them. If the cloudburst happens exactly over that catchment, then all the water will find its way down the river and out to sea in a matter of hours.
Monday, the 16th of August, 2004. Visitors in Boscastle are enjoying the morning sun. At midday, just a few miles away in the hills above the village, heavy rain begins to fall. At the end of the main street is a 14th century building. Now a shop, it's one of the most popular attractions in the village. The owner is Trixie Webster.
The day started off quite warm and sunny, but round about midday we had this sort of ominous black cloud and it started raining.
The first showers took visitors by surprise, but much heavier rain was falling on the slopes above the village. This water was being rapidly funneled down the narrow valley and heading straight towards Boscastle.
Just before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it came up to the top of the old bridge, and I realised then we were going to have a flood.
A huge torrent surges through the centre of Boscastle. Many don't realise that their lives are at risk from the fast-flowing water. But soon people call the emergency services for help.
We do need assistance urgently. We need police, certainly. The roads are all blocked now and it's absolute chaos here.
2 females are reportedly cut off by the cafe.
We'll go and investigate.
The surging river is fueled by one of the most extreme downpours ever experienced in Britain. 8 inches of rain falls on the hills in one day.
Well, we did everything we could. We put up stormboards, sandbags on all the buildings that we thought might be flooded.
In Boscastle, 3.5 inches of rain fell in 1 hour and events escalated rapidly. The sewage system collapses. Hundreds of tons of thick, dark sewage mix with the floodwater.
And the sheer power of the water, it was the volume of it. It was muddy, it was smelling.
The river busts its banks, and floodwaters threatened Trixie Webster's shop.
The first thing was the volume of water I saw just dismissed the sandbags and everything else and just broke open the door. And then we have 3 windows at the back and it just burst through those windows.
The flood destroyed the contents of Trixie's shop and swamped many other buildings in the village. The emergency services are now inundated with calls.
I mean, this is serious flooding. We're talking 3 foot deep down the main road.
Are you going calling through the police? What's the emergency?
I've got roads flooded and people in danger.
Do you know how many people are trapped?
There's a flood here, really bad flood here, and people are getting injured. And we need some emergency services down here.
Right, okay, whereabouts are you? In the town centre or where?
At the car park near the port.
The noise was just colossal. You literally couldn't hear yourself shout. It turned into a ballistic scene of just utter carnage.
Water cascades through the centre of Boscastle at a rate of 140 tonnes per second. A wall of water sweeps cars through the village and smashes them into buildings. Trixie's shop is battered.
Every car that came down smashed into it, didn't stand a chance.
Trixie Webster's 14th century shop at the end of the main street simply disappears.
It was only the next day when the waters had subsided and we saw the devastation. That was the shock, really. The 400-year-old building was gone. It was like a bereavement, actually.
If you look through the records, you can find examples of previous floods in Boscastle, probably once every 15 or 20 years. Not to the same extent as the 2004 event, but the same pattern.
The weather can always throw you something bigger and worse than before. Records are there to be broken.